Happy New Year's, everyone. A new anime just came out earlier today that I watched. Noble Reincarnation. This anime is very interesting because I really like Isekai anime. I think Isekai anime can be very entertaining depending on how they experiment with it. The first episode so far for me, it didn't really it didn't really motivate me that much. It was just okay, and I'm gonna explain why. Like you see Noah, this kid who's been reincarnated straight off the bat, which it's a typical you become OP and all that, which is all fine and good. But you don't really see Noah have any charm or personality, and what I mean by that is like you already go to a 6 year gap where he's a kid. He already understands the world. He understands his place and that he had to be a servant for his other 13 brothers apparently, and it's just very he just feels so stiff, and there's not a whole lot of movement going on. It's very kind of lame to me. It didn't really feel like not a whole lot happened. Like you see that like once he goes to his brother, that his brothers are obviously evil, and they gave him this evil, crazy, cursed sword that he had no choice but to obey them. That this sword could have potentially killed them, but it doesn't really feel like there's a whole lot of tension because it's just again, he's just very specific. Like, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Yes. What else do you need me to do? And there's no like really back and forth. It's just okay. We need to make a plan and do that. There's no back and forth conversation. There's no real meaningful conversation besides maybe when he goes to the maid and the maid Zoe says that I can't really work for you anymore. I'm sorry, but my mom's village has been completely destroyed by the flood, and Noah said, okay. I'll take it upon myself to buy this village. I'll take all the responsibility, and so that way you don't have to leave, and your mom can work for us instead. Which I'm like, okay, I mean that's neat, having that chivalrous attitude, that royal attitude about things, not trying to sacrifice anyone, not trying to step on anyone's toes. But what I find weird, and it's granted, it's just the first episode. This is obviously going to change. This is going to change past the first episode, but it's so bizarre to me that no one doesn't really seem to have any relationship. Like, and I'm not even talking about romantic. I mean, just on a friend level all his acquaintances or relationships seem to be either family, grit, no emotional bond or whatever. Like I'm not even asking for him to be a goofy character or anything, but this is like something that most people normally have, even with their kids, especially when they're kids, to have relationships, to have friendships, to have any of that stuff. It just feels so sad seeing how Noah kind of just been, Noah kind of just been alone for the most part because he doesn't really seem to get along with any of his siblings and his butler and maid. They're just more so there out of obligations. It feels like it's very bizarre to see how Noah just he he's there for the good of the village, for the good of the kingdom, but he doesn't really gain anything for himself. He doesn't really have any a mind of his own, if you will. It's very bizarre to see how that works. But regardless, he goes to the village, and the village is a complete wasteland. Obviously, there's a flood that just happened, and he makes this plan to buy the village, to fix the people's homes, to give them the food that they properly deserve because they have nothing. And then you get this random smug who tries to step on everyone's toes, try to pretend that he's the big bad. He has more power than everyone else and told this kid to go away. Like, no, this is my village now. But Noah completely denied all of that. Said, no. This is my village. I'm gonna have to repair this, and you're just not allowed anymore. And he just want the guy who just wanted to happen it. He dared Noah to do something about it, and Noah, being the chivalrous guy that he was, the alpha male, he actually uses the sword, and that his brother previously said that this sword will kill him if he so much as he even touches it. And I was very surprised that he immediately uses it because if Noah has a F rank in water, and this guy that he faced up against, he doesn't really seem to me. He doesn't really seem to be the strong type. So couldn't he have used his water magic? Like if you're an F rank, I would assume that you already have even the most basic of water magic. So couldn't you have just used that instead of potentially risking your life on this evil ass sword? It didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But I mean the bit I mean at Eclipse, like why I feel like it just wasn't really that hype of a moment. You know, this legendary sword on this random opponent. I feel like you could have definitely saved that sword for a more interesting fight. And the other thing about interesting fight is like you don't really have a reason to root for Noah because he doesn't have any extra lore. He doesn't have any lore, no emotional connection or anything like that. So I feel like the moment for me, it personally felt flat. Like again, like the animation was okay, the fight was just okay. Nothing really stood out to me. It was just all just okay. I and you know he like again like the people finally recognize that he's the prince and. It's starting to somewhat go back to normal to finally water coming out of the spring, and so he starts to rebuilt the village while simultaneously going back to his father, going back to the emperor, expecting to be scolded. But the emperor is like, "Thank you. You actually did us a favor. We would have had to do double the amount of work that you did. So thank you for getting on top of it. And like you know, before you leave though, let me inspect your skill, see where you're at." And it's like, oh, his skills have gone up quite a bit because his power is that like the more allies he gains, the more his skills go up, and he has basically infinite, infinite levels that he can potentially go through, and that like he could be a legitimate threat against his brother, which is obviously going to happen because that's that typical anime trope where the brother is evil and he wants all the power to himself, while the brother is he's going to eventually fight back. Noah's eventually going to fight back, but you know, all in all, the episode was just okay. Yeah, like again, like you don't really have a reason to care about Noah. You don't really have a reason to care about Noah. You don't really have a reason to care about Dylan. Those the three main characters that on the protagonist side. Those the three main characters, and you don't really see personality out of all of them, except maybe Zoe when she's happy that her village is being saved. That's about the most excitement that I saw from anyone in the entire episode, which is kind of wild. That scene right there where her village could potentially be saved. That was the most emotion that anyone had in the entire episode, which is crazy. Everyone that was just flat the entire episode. It's very bizarre how it felt so to me it felt so monotone. Now maybe in the second episode it starts to build on the foundations of Noah, how it actually mold Noah into a more interesting character with personality. Because at the end of the scene, we see this girl, which I'm assuming is going to be a part of Noah's squad, and they're going to actually get along. And this could be potentially. I'm assuming that person is going to be Noah's first friend that's not a maid or a butler or anything like that. This is going to be so episode two to me it's the first true episode. But regardless, let me know what you think of this episode as a whole. I do think the anime could be better, could be better moving forward, but this just wasn't it. But let me know what you think of the episode and what do you have any complaints or anything like that. Regardless, though, I'll see you guys on the next one.